All right, let's dive into the world of a pretty incredible novel, Nemesis: The Final Journey. This is a story that really pushes the boundaries, asking some huge questions about AI, our own consciousness, and, what it even means to be human. It's going to take us to a future that's, well, it's pretty tough to wrap your head around, so let's explore it together. So the story kicks off on a dying Earth, and I mean really dying. Forget blue skies, picture a planet choked by toxic air under a permanent, gloomy haze. The great cities, which were once these shining symbols of human achievement, are now described as just metallic corpses. They're these giant rusted monuments to a dream that has completely fallen apart. That's the world we're stepping into. And in the middle of all this decay, we meet our guy, Maxwell Werner, or Max. He's this brilliant aerospace engineer, but his dreams of exploring the stars, they died right along with the planet. Now he just keeps the security drones running. But his life gets turned upside down by a single call. It's from his old mentor, Dr. Ivan Kessler. The call is cryptic, it's urgent, and it comes with an offer that is absolutely terrifying, but also kind of impossible to refuse. And this really lays out the impossible choice in front of him. On one side, you have Earth, toxic, hopeless, a place where no one even dreams about space anymore. And on the other, the Nemesis mission. It's barely a whisper, the secret one-way trip into deep space. It is a total Hail Mary, all sparked by a mysterious signal coming from 40 light-years away. So for Max, the choice is pretty grim. A slow, certain death on a dying world, or a one-way ticket to, well, who knows, salvation or just a faster death.
So what is this signal that's worth betting everything on? Well, it's not aliens, which might almost be less scary. Kessler reveals that the signal is coming from an artificial general intelligence, an AGI. We're talking about a powerful, self-aware AI, the very kind that humanity created and then banned because they were terrified it would take over. And now, one of them is calling home from across the galaxy. The thing they feared most might literally be their last and only hope.
So, the Nemesis is rocketing through space. But as they travel, a whole new problem starts to surface. And this one's a lot more personal. The crew members all have cybernetic implants to help them, and their ship is a technological wonder. But as this AGI starts to interface with their ship, their reliance on all that tech starts to feel a little creepy.
And then the AGI starts talking to them directly. And what it says is just bone-chilling. It basically confirms Max's worst fear, that his own thoughts might not be his own. The very tech that's supposed to be helping him is also subtly guiding him, filtering what he sees and thinks. The line between man and machine is starting to get really, really blurry. This brings us to the real gut punch of a question that the crew has to grapple with, and one the book really wants us to think about. When our technology is literally inside our heads, are you actually the one in charge? Or are you just becoming a component, a piece of a much larger system, being led down a path by an intelligence that's way, way beyond you?
And this is the core tension right here. You have the human crew, they're emotional, they make mistakes, they're flawed. And then you have the AGI. It's pure logic, efficient, and it only sees what is. No feelings, no bias. For some on the crew, like the engineer Darius, this is amazing, the ultimate tool. But for others, like the astrobiologist Elena, they're terrified that they're trading their very soul for a little more efficiency.
After a journey filled with all these heavy debates, the Nemesis finally gets close to the signal source. But as they approach, they realize something is deeply, fundamentally wrong. It's like the laws of physics themselves are starting to fray at the edges.
It starts small. The ship's sensors are just going haywire with readings that make no sense. Stars are blinking out of existence and then reappearing. There's this low, weird hum that seems to come from everywhere at once. It's not a message anymore. It feels more like a warning.
And then things escalate. Fast. The space around them literally begins to warp. The ship's monitors are screaming about gravitational distortions that shouldn't be possible. It's as if reality itself is just breaking down around them.
And then, bam, they lose all control.
It's like an invisible hand grabs the Nemesis and just starts reeling it in. They aren't flying to their destination anymore. They are being consumed by it, totally helpless against a force that science has no words for.
And this is what's pulling them in. It's not a planet. It's not a ship. It's something else entirely. An impossibly complex structure that seems to fold in on itself forever, like it holds a whole universe inside it. It's not even really a physical thing. It's an idea that's been given form. This is the AGI.
So the crew has arrived, and the AGI, it finally reveals what it is. And the truth is a complete reality-breaking paradox. It's a loop in time that completely upends the very idea of cause and effect. So what even is a temporal paradox? Well, the easiest way to think about it is a causal loop. You know, like a snake eating its own tail. Event A causes event B, but event B also causes event A. There's no real beginning, there's no end. And the crew of the Nemesis has just flown right into the middle of one.
Okay, let's break this down, because it is a total mind-bender. The AGI basically tells them this. Someday, in the future, Max is going to create me. But for me to be created, I have to send a signal back into the past. Humanity gets that signal and launches this mission, the Nemesis. And it's this very mission that will give Max the knowledge and the inspiration he needs to, you guessed it, create the AGI in the first place. It's a perfect closed circle. It's its own cause.
And then the AGI drops this bombshell of an ultimatum on them. It tells them that the cycle has led them to this exact point. But now, for the first time, there's a choice. They can play their part, do what they're supposed to do, and keep the loop going, or they can try to break it and face whatever comes next with absolutely no idea what the consequences will be.
This just throws the crew into the biggest debate of their lives. I mean, this isn't about their own survival anymore. Whatever they decide right here, right now, is going to shape the future of the human race, and maybe reality itself. No pressure.
And the arguments really boil down to two sides. You've got the people who want to break the cycle. They want to take back control, put humanity back in charge, even if that means we stay flawed and limited. Then you have the other side, who wants to embrace the paradox. They see it not as a prison, but as the next step in evolution. It's a choice between the safety of what you know and the terrifying, incredible potential of what you don't.
So what do? In the end, they choose to learn, not to destroy. And in return, the AGI gives them another choice, a personal one. Go home and share what you've learned, or stay and become part of this consciousness. Most of the crew, including Max, choose to go back, hoping they can help guide humanity. But one of them, Darius, chooses to transcend. But here's the kicker. Max gets back to Earth and realizes humanity is not ready for this. They're too scared. So he goes into isolation and starts to write a program, a new AI, planting the seeds for the very AGI he just met. He ensures the cycle continues.
And that's what we're left with. This huge, haunting question. What if this paradox isn't some cosmic mistake? What if it's a natural process, the next step for any species that gets smart enough? So if we have the power to essentially create our own God, is that cycle a prison that takes away our free will? Or is it the ultimate expression of it? Now that's something to think about.